listeners. Welcome to Rambling Thoughts. I'm your host, Lost Boy, and today I'm going to be talking about things I find fascinating that not everyone sees to. Just everyday things that, like, we don't really think about, but when you do stop and look at it, they're extremely fascinating to me. Um, I asked a question. I asked what you find fascinating that others don't in the community tab. One person answered, but that's okay. Um, the hold on, let me pull it up real quick. While I'm pulling that up, how you guys been? I know it's been a while. I have been busy with school and crap, but hey, I have almost graduated. I'm almost there. Just gotta make it through this last month or so. Uh, but yeah, things have been a bit rough on my end for multiple reasons. Uh, but like I said, I'm holding in there. I'll be fine probably. um, okay. Elizabeth this says Elizabeth Monkey 01 says, I think the Earth is like so interesting. I feel like everyone doesn't think about it, but I think our Earth being a ball and spinning all the time is so weird. Uh, I do agree with that sentiment. That is one of the things that I find fascinating, because like, if you stop and think about it, we are sitting on a giant rock that's floating around in the middle of space, abyss, whatever, and there are other planets, these balls of rock and gas just all rotating with us, and we're all like spinning around a star, which is again a ball of plasma, fire, and gas. And is that not insane when you really stop and think about it? What well, like one thing I think about every once in a while is we are so small compared to everything that that has existed and will continue to exist after we are gone. We are a speck on this planet. Even though like obviously human life is all over the planet, like it will happen eventually. Extinctions happen. So yeah, that is something that will happen, and I don't see it as a scary thought. I know for some people that seems like scary to think about, but to me it is really humbling just to know just how small I am compared to everything else around me. I am one person in a single state in a country on a planet. Like I would not even be a dot on the graph, but I that's so cool to me in a weird way. It makes the world seem so much bigger than it already is. And here's another thing that I can say is fascinating, just like with our daily lives, we don't think about it. Do you know our bodies have the ability to take in oxygen, convert that into carbon dioxide. We use that oxygen in our bodies, and it converts that, and it exhales that carbon dioxide out. What I just described was breathing. That is one of those basic things ever, but it is still so fascinating when you get down and think about it. Just on that topic of like oxygen, carbon dioxide, there's an entire world happening right in front of our faces that we can't even see. It is so small and minuscule, but it is right there, and just a whole other, like, yeah, exactly that, a whole other world happening right at our fingertips, and we don't even see that it's happening. I wrote a list of things that I find fascinating. Let me grab that. Um, just to, I wrote it down just so I wouldn't forget. Um, but where is it? It's on this notepad somewhere. Um, One of the other things that I do remember off the top of my head is the nervous system, our bodies. Like when you step back, the human body, despite its like the flaws that it has, it is also extremely fascinating. Life itself is very fascinating because there are so many things happening underneath your skin you don't even see that is giving you the ability to think, to breathe, to move. Your nervous system is freaking electricity running through your muscles and skin, and is that not insane? I know some people will go like, "Oh, well, yeah, that's just how our bodies move." But no, think about that. That is so crazy. Like words. I'm getting so hyped up. I can't. I'm stuttering more. Um, it's that is insane. My nervous system is the reason I'm able to sit here and talk and like think and able to communicate these words into this microphone I'm holding right now. That is so cool when you really think about it. And just like life itself is really insane, just for existing, because yeah, evolution kind of just happens. There's not really a plan for evolution. It just happens. And we are a byproduct of evolution. Uh, and it's pretty much just a bunch of series of coincidences, and now we exist. Um, and here's another thing having to do with like the aforementioned microphone technology itself. We were able to somehow figure out how to make this stuff, and it is so cool. We our brains developed enough to where we were able to come up with this idea of a little screen that we can hold in our hands that holds pretty much vast amounts of information just at the touch of our fingers, and we're able to do so much with it. Phones are a part of phones, tablets, touchscreens, whatever. They're part of everyday life for a lot of people now, mostly in first world countries. Uh, but yeah, you get my point. They are just something that's there, and I don't think enough people really think about how cool it is to know what's underneath. Alex Tiff from Something Good Network told me that something he finds fascinating. He used to love watching a show called How It's Made, or just something like that, where it went into how something was made. And I agree. I agree with him on it's really cool to see how things are made, just the things in our daily life. One thing I remember two videos seeing like that. One was watching how gumballs are made. Not gumball, jawbreakers are made. Another one being how sprinkles are made. The sprinkle ones really interested me because I'm like, wait, I really don't know how these things are made. How the heck do you make sprinkles? And that's funny because I don't even like sprinkles. You can come at me in the comments for that. But I will say it loud and proud with my chest. I do not like sprinkles. I do not understand it. They are these little hard things that add no extra flavor. They suck. I'm sorry. I don't like them. I do not understand why people like sprinkles. Like, even as a decoration, oh, those freaking hard pearl sprinkles, they can just disintegrate. I would not be sad. Like, I would be happy. It's like, yay, I don't have to deal with these things anymore. Because it's not like I'm dealing with them in my daily life, but anytime I go to any sort of event and there's desserts, I'm like, yay, dessert. But then I see a freaking sprinkles on it and I'm mad. On the topic of sprinkles, I don't like frosting that much either. Again, go ahead, come at me in the comments for that. I don't care. But I don't really like frosting. I have been known to eat around the frosting, and when I eat cake, I don't eat the frosting itself. Only frosting I like is if it's, I do like buttercream kinda, and I like whipped cream. That's just cakes. They're so good. But I do like chocolate frosting. Like, if it's genuine chocolate frosting, not just brown frosting, I like it. But if it's just like that, yeah, it's just frosting, pure sugar, and yeah. And you know what's a problem whenever you and I'm saying that, because I like sugar. I like sweet stuff a lot, but if I don't like frosting, you know that's an issue. Um, anyway, back to what I was talking about before. Things that are just really fascinating. As I was saying about phones, they have evolved so much over the past couple of like decades, pretty much. Um, and I think for some companies it's evolving backwards, and I find that funny. For example, I know some of you have seen those like touchscreen flip phones. I know someone who's had one of those, and it freaking broke, which makes sense. I don't know why. Like okay, at the time when I first saw those when I was maybe like 14, I thought they were pretty cool. And it was like, yay, a flip phone, but a screen. There's nothing wrong with this concept at all. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it doesn't take someone super intelligent to look at that and go, that's not gonna work right. And yeah, that doesn't always work. His phone like was broke. There was like a green line through it or something. Either way, it broke somehow. I don't remember what it was or what happened. But yeah, having a sensitive touch screen be able to fold in on itself, I don't think that's how those things should work. Even if it's a cool concept, we're not there yet. We are not we are nowhere near that level of technological advancement. Or yeah, just the whole concept just doesn't really make sense. If you have a screen that is a touch screen, but then you have it fold in the middle, I feel like you're gonna have some issues. Like, what if one side is out of sync with the other? Just things like that. I'm not gonna act like I know what I'm talking about. I'm not a tech person, so I don't know how those things work. But yeah, even I can look at that and go, I don't. That doesn't sound right. um, when it, that's actually another thing. I think we're gonna get to a point where we've reached the peak of human advancements in the sense of technological advancements. I don't think I think there's a point where we can't get any more advanced. I don't mean that in a pessimistic way. I just mean I think there is a limit that we can't breach. I don't think there is, but at the same time, like I say that, but then we also have done things that thousands of years ago no one would even have imagined was possible. For example, like we got into space. That's a thing that's happened. It's not easy, but it's plausible. It's possible. Um, but I do think that we won't really be able to get to a certain point. Like just like the science fiction level, I guess, if that makes any sense. I don't think we're gonna be able to have stuff like that as a like something that just exists amongst the common people, or even like exists in a way that is able to be used in a what's the word I'm looking for? Convenient way, if that makes any sense. Um, but yeah, I do still know that like there's plenty of things that people are still doing and I find incredibly insane. Just like, okay, how are we able to do this? Example of something I do think that we should never have been able to mess with. I don't think nukes are like I don't like okay, nukes are just scary because humanity was never supposed to wield that kind of power. I don't think humans were ever supposed to know how to do that, and I don't think we should still have them, but there's no way to safely get rid of them. But that's a topic for another day, so I'm not gonna get on all into that. Um, Another thing on my list here is rain. And that is something I do think about it is really cool. Basically, heat is making all these little particles go up into the atmosphere above our heads. They are clumping together to form these puffs of gas that we call clouds. And whenever they fill up so much and get really heavy, they all start to fall. Obviously, it's more advanced than that, but I'm not gonna get into that right now. Um, that's that's the easy, simple way of explaining it without getting too technical. Um, but rain is a really interesting thing that not everyone actually just sits and thinks about. I know that I just sit and think about a lot of things. I've been called an overthinker before, but I don't think some of these thoughts are overthinking. It's just, for me, it's just thinking. It's just the things that pass through my head. That's why I have this podcast now, so I can just discuss the things I want to talk about. And trust me, as I've said before, I have an entire list. I can keep going. This podcast will probably go well into my adult years. um, but yeah. Or okay. On top of that, plants. Plants are so cool. I know. So this is where I'm probably gonna lose some of you, but plants are really interesting to me because, like, okay, and also just this is the same thing with people and just anything that's living, having the ability to grow, like increase your mass from what you originally were, because you look at a seed. You just any seed, even just something small like a poppy seed, something so small and minuscule, but give it time, it will turn into something bigger than it ever could have imagined. I say that I personify plants. I say that as if plants have actual thinking, but I don't know if it actually does. We don't know. They don't have brains, at least in the way that we do. That's another thing, is that people humans have an inherent bias when it comes to thinking about how the world works. But it's not really our fault, because we have only our lives to go off of as reference. So we can only assume everything runs the same way we do. But it's kind of, I think that's kind of wrong in a way. I'm not saying that everything we figured out is incorrect, but what I am saying is that I think this world works in a way that is beyond our comprehension. For example, we try to put nature in these little boxes, like try to categorize things, but there are always exceptions. There are always things that break those rules, because nature doesn't give a damn what we think. It's gonna do what it wants. For example, little rule that some people have, that is just a basic thought for some people. Cats hate water. Okay, I give you the flat-headed cat. A cat with webbing between its paws that dives into the water to hunt for fish. We are watching evolution happen right now, and that is incredible. But that is one animal that breaks rules. Anyway, what was I saying before? I already forgot. I went on a tangent. I know I was talking about plants. But yeah, plants are just really cool. They can kind of just exist and grow on their own. Obviously, there's some outside factors to them, but overall, they can kind of just exist. They can just chill. This is why I love moss. This is not going to turn into a moss rant, I swear. I say that, watch it turn into that. Moss is a plant. Well, technically, we're not getting into that. Okay, moss is a plant that can just chill. It can just exist on its own. You don't have to do anything to it. You can let it dry out in the sun. Add a few drops of water to that thing after. It is perfectly fine. It's chill. It's just like, that didn't even hurt, buddy. There is moss that is growing in Antarctica. Which that's a whole other issue I'm not gonna get into. But the moss that can exist there, it has built-in antifreeze into its into its cell walls and stuff like that, and it can get frozen, but then you can defrost it and it'll be fine. If you want to hear more about my thoughts on moss, go to my first Rambling Thoughts episode. I did, that one wasn't as long. My early episodes, I was still trying to figure out my format and what I was doing, so I'm not gonna take that one down, but I might do a remake one day, just to format it differently and actually put all of my thoughts properly, because that one was actually kind of scripted, a little bit. I don't know if you could tell in that video, but it was kind of scripted to where I was just, yeah, I had a bunch of notes written down, but that's how I learned I'm not good at that. I can't read from a script. I think I sound unnatural, kind of, whenever I'm trying to read from a script, but I am better at improv and just spilling my thoughts. That's why I just called this rambling thoughts. I'm legit just spilling all of the thoughts I have in my head out. But yeah. Going back to the other thing I was saying, how like human advancements and all that. Yeah, I don't obviously I can't see the for the yeah, I don't know what word I was trying to say. Obviously I can't see what the future is going to be like. None of us will know. In like 100 years from now, we don't know what everything's going to look like. But I do think that we will get to a point where we can't really advance any further. Like there is kind of a cap in like yeah, there's I think there is a limit. There will always be people trying to break those limits, which I don't think that's a bad thing. Challenging yourself and advancing is not always a bad thing, but I do think that we will get to a point where it's kind of gone a little too far, or not even that, just just you get my point. I don't know how to word it properly. Going off from this topic a little bit, here's this is something I'm really excited about is I am officially part of a team to work on a comic. If you've stuck around this long to hear about this, good for you. I don't know. I'll make a gold star and I'll put it in my community tab. um, but yeah, I went to a trans expo. I'm pretty sure I put some posts about it on my channel. Let me check that. Did I? Yes, I did. Um, I posted about a trans expo I went to where I got to sell some of my art. It was really fun. I met some really cool people. And yeah, overall the experience was really enjoyable. But while I was there, I was approached by this guy, and he looked at my art because I was selling these prints of digital art I made. I still need to make some like stuff on my Instagram to show that I'm still selling those things, but we won't talk about that right now. So yeah, he saw it and he asked me if I drew those. I said yes, and then he told me about how he had a story, like a plot and everything written out. He wanted to make a comic, but he couldn't draw. So he was assembling a team to help him with this with this comic. And I gave him my Instagram, my work email, and like I left. Honestly, I wasn't sure what was going to happen next, but I was like, might as well give this a shot. And he did reach out to me like maybe a week later or a few days later. I'm not sure. Either way, um, this this person, uh, I forget how to say their name, but I'm just gonna call them based on their Gmail. Like their Gmail is like yeah. I'm not gonna say their full Gmail. Never mind. I'll just call them Pitch. So Pitch uh gave me an overview of the comic, and I thought it was really cool. I cannot talk about the comic itself right now because I did agree to join the team, and gave me a contract. I signed it. My mom read it over because like technically I'm turning 18 in July, but I'm not 18 yet. So just for legal purposes, I had to get my mom to co-sign the contract. And yeah, it's really exciting. I'm so happy about this because this feels like a huge opportunity. Who knows where the comic is gonna go, but like it's really fun. I Production is gonna start in May. Um, and I didn't sign an NDA, but they said not to talk about the story too much till it's released. So I'm going to not I'm not gonna talk about the story itself. I just wanted to share the fact that I'm gonna be working on a comic, and it's so exciting. Um, this does not mean I will be dropping my book. my book is very much still in production. Currently, I'm sitting, just taking some time away from it because I did finish the first draft, but I'm just letting it chill on its own with the and yeah, just working on other stuff while before I make a second draft. The second draft is probably gonna be more focused on the actual drawing part and figuring out like the format of the book, because now that I have the plot, I'll be able to know where pictures go and where the word parts go. I'm really excited because I have the image in my head. It's so clear and it's so good. Other thing I'll say is I am almost done with that animation. I am very happy with how this is turning out. The backgrounds of that animation have made me want to work on my book so bad. It's made me want to draw the pictures already, but I have not. And I haven't, just because I know I need to step back. I need to not do that, but I want to so badly because I love drawing backgrounds. Because okay, drawing backgrounds for me, I don't know if other people do it like this. I make a base, like a base sketch, and then I'll just splash colors together. I put colors together till it works. That's pretty much my process for making backgrounds. But I like it. It's lineless in a way that doesn't feel like a mesh of colors. Things are defined, but it looks really nice, and I like it a lot. I'm pretty sure it's called rendering. But anyway, going back to the topic of things that are just fascinating, like, think about light. Like, just light. For one, we have photoreceptors in our eyes, so we're able to, take in light. I think that's your retina. I think. You can fact check me on that. Someone tell me in the comments if I have that right about the anatomy of an eye. But we just, look, that's how we're able to see. We take in light, but we only have 3 color receptors. We don't have more, we don't have less. We only have 3, so we're only able to see see a combination of those colors in front of us. And light moves insanely fast. And for me, my eyes are very sensitive. My senses are sensitive in general. So for me, even just the smallest amount of light in a room, I'm able to still see. But yeah, that's just really interesting when you get down to it, because for example, the freaking mantis shrimp, I've mentioned this shrimp so many times. I know I've mentioned it more than once. I don't know which podcast episodes I've mentioned the mantis shrimp in, but I know I've said it before. The freaking mantis shrimp is just, it has freaking 16 color receptors. 16! I think I might have that wrong. I might have only 15, but I remember reading it had 16 color receptors. It can see colors that we can't even imagine. And that, I'm a little bit jealous of that, because imagine being able to use those colors. I want to know what those colors look like, but I can never know because I don't have 16 color receptors. We only have red, yellow, and blue. Which, okay, going off of that, I find it interesting how we just call, like, things just have names to us. We just call them certain things. But what if they had different names? Just stay with me here. I don't know how to explain this thought. I don't know. Okay, I say this, but then at the same time, I also am aware things just exist. We don't really exist with a purpose. We don't really exist for any specific reason. We just do. I know a lot of people try to think about, like, what is the meaning of life, or like philosophical stuff like that. Oh no, philosophical. Is that how you say it? Philosophical. There it is. I know some people think about philosophical things like that, but I think I have found the quote-unquote answer is life doesn't really have a meaning to it. We just exist. We're just here for some reason. We are a byproduct of many, many, many years of coincidences just happening. we are, yeah, we're just a product of that. There is not really a meaning to life, and you can take that as any way you want. You can take it as life. Life has as much meaning as you give to it, and that's pretty much how I see it. I try to stay positive most of the time, or at least keep a level head. But I do have times where, like, not getting into a personal side. I do have times where I am just in a really low place, and that fact doesn't always help me. But it is a fact I've become aware of is we don't really have a meaning or purpose for being here. The fascinating part is we don't really exist for a specific reason. We just exist. So it is our choice to decide what we want to do with us existing. Uh, I know for some people that's a heavy thought, but hey, these are just the things that I think of, and you do with you what you will with it. I'm sorry if I unintentionally give anyone listening to this an existential crisis. That is not my purpose. Like not purpose. That is not my intention with sharing my thoughts about this. But that's that's just the way that I think. And feel free to disagree if you personally have any other ideas of what the quote unquote meaning to life is. Feel free to share it. I would like to hear other people's thoughts. Okay, going back to colors, I really do find colors fascinating. I don't know what to say when people ask me if I have a favorite color. My best option to give is I like purple. I really like purple, so that's my best thing I can say when if I get asked what my favorite color is. But the issue is I like all colors. I really do. All colors are really nice to me. So the easier way to answer that is ask me what my least favorite color is. I don't like orange. You can come at me in the comments. I don't know who out there is a orange lover. I don't know. I really have never met someone who is a diehard loves orange person. Like I could say orange fan, but whatever. Um, but yeah, I don't really like orange all that much. It's a nice color. It's a soft color at times. Like it can vary, but like it's I don't know. This orange is doesn't always sit with me. Okay, orange combined with other colors, very nice. Orange on its own, nah, like, little off for me, buddy. I don't really like that. Um, but yeah, I there going on to things that are also like other things that are fascinating. 'Cause like I said, I have so many thoughts of just everything is really fascinating when you really sit and think about it. Another example, baking and cooking. That is something that allowed humans to evolve. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can look into this yourself. I'll try to find links and put them in the description. To just whatever like whatever articles or something about this or even videos about this. But cooking is what allowed humans to evolve and develop bigger brains. For a long time we still just ate our food raw, but cooking our food is what allowed us to digest it easier and therefore develop bigger brains. And yeah, that cooking is what helped humans evolve in general. But that also meant that because we were sitting down and cooking, people would gather around a fire while waiting for the food to cook, and that leads to storytelling. And it's such a interesting way to think about how the world started. It's just from simple stuff like that. But cooking itself, there's not a lot of there's we humans are the only animals known to cook their food. And before someone gets mad at me in the comments, yes, we are animals. But humans are a type of animal. Even if we try to differentiate ourselves, we are still technically animals. But we cook our food, and not a lot of animals do that. Some animals wash their food, but not any animals really actually cook their food that we know of. Um, and that goes for baking too. That's how I like to put it. I had a conversation with my friend once. Cooking is an art. Baking is a science. With cooking, you can do. I'm at a little bit of this and at a little bit of that, and you can make something that to your taste is good and like yeah, it works out just fine. But baking, you better not add too much baking soda. That thing will explode. If you even just add like a little too much, like even just a gram off from how much it was supposed to be, you will mess up your entire baking thing. And who knows why baking is so intense? But yeah, it's exactly that. Baking is a science. You have to get it down to the number and like for the temperature, for the ingredients, or even just the way you're mixing it. I'm pretty sure. But anyway, this is getting pretty long, and my brain is starting to tap out. I have other stuff I need to get done, but I think this is a good place for me to stop. Who knows if I will make another version of this, where I talk about more things that I find fascinating. But you guys will just have to wait and see. I hope you're all doing well out there, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you for listening. Have a safe journey, and I hope it's a good one.